So we had to always like, kind of like, keep shaving certain things up. And then when we finally got to our final cut, we like had to take stuff out. Like I'd gotten so used to. I was like, no, we need it, and then you really don't.
Me and Marie, the editor, were just like, it's got to go. It's got to go. Here's the other thing too. It was really cool because it was a good collaboration between I think mostly the three of us, John and our co-editor Marie and myself, because we all had different takes on it, and we wanted to make this film very accessible to not just Superman fans, but also film fans and people who love the process of filmmaking and want to know more about why these things don't get made. So, but ultimately, towards the end, the glue was John Peters. When we finally got John Peters, it was like connecting the dots because he actually asked for the questions in advance so that he could familiarize himself with it. And when we asked him, we already had so much of the film cut that we were able to ask him very pointed and specific questions. And then when he answered them, it was like, oh, there we go. You know what I mean? The arc sort of created itself. But up until that point, we had a cut, but it was nowhere near as strong as when we got the 500 Street Fighter.
Yeah, John Peters changed the film for the better and just added that because literally he's the one who carried it from beginning to end before it transformed into what it is now, which is like Man of Steel, Superman,
right. I have a question. How many of you have seen the film, and how many have you not?
Oh, right on.
Okay, so more of you have not seen it then. Is that right? So, how many of you were familiar with Superman Lives back in the day? One. See? Okay. And I'd love to know people's thoughts about it, because what's interesting about this documentary is that a lot of people go in thinking, oh, it would have been a disaster, it would have been horrible, Nicolas Cage's Superman, horrible idea, but then they leave after having seen it going, wow, I think we really missed out on something very cool. You guys should check it out.
Yeah, we're screening it tonight at 7:30 in what is it called? The Bayfront or
the Baymont Theater over here at Baymont Hotel.
Yeah, so I believe it's a free screening. It's part of the Superman.
Another Q&A, right?
Yeah, another Q&A. So once you've seen the film, you can ask us questions about the film you've seen if you haven't seen it, obviously. And like we've said, we're like over in the autograph area. We're right next to Jimmy Olsen, Mark McClure. So definitely check out. We reduced our price for the Blu-ray DVD. It comes with both a Blu-ray and a DVD. It's $20 only for the Superman celebration. Normally you have it at $30 at every convention, including last week at Phoenix Comic Con. And online it's like $37. So
Superman celebration.
You want to pick it up?
That's how much they love you.
We got it for a flavory discount.
And we got posters too. So we got posters, we got action figures. Oh, John has the Super Robot Challenge Man action figures.
Right, like if Superman got made in another dimension, think Earth 2, it actually did get made, and then this is like sort of like a knockoff, so that's why it's called Superman.
It's like a Korean-Danish knockoff, so we've got these little crazy toys.
It's kit busted. I had a friend who makes action figures, hand make the figures. So
it's got polar bears on spaceships on the back.
Yeah, it's real goofy. Anyway, enough of our pimpage. Let's get back to the questions.
Okay. Hi, John. Hi, Holly. I've seen the film, loved it. One question I had was Warner Brothers on board with you doing this? Did they give you a hard time about doing this, or what was their stance on this?
We did everything legally, so they didn't really. If you do everything under the, fair use laws, then you're not gonna. You don't have to deal with. I mean, it's a lot of work to get around those, but really they can't come after you. You
don't need to ask for their permission, but they could sue you and destroy you if they wanted to. So it was like,
and if you do it wrong.
Yeah, and it was a weird line for myself because professionally, I've worked for Warner Brothers for like the last 18 years because Cartoon Network is owned by Warner Brothers. So literally, my livelihood has been provided by these people, and I think they're very. They like to play it safe, and of course they don't want anybody like negatively putting a negative spin on their properties. And I don't think, especially because of my background is in doing these kind of adult cartoon shows, especially Space Ghost or things that make fun of people. I think a lot of people originally might have thought that my take on this was going to be to mock it or to make it a comedy or something. I don't think, and now they know I'm a nerd and like I gotta make this, do my show and stuff like that. And I think us coming at it with just we want to just tell the story I think they were very skeptical and didn't. And I talked to their lawyers, and they said, "Good luck on the project. We're not going to help you at all."
Yeah.
So they weren't going to give us.
Clear about
Yeah,
that.
they're very
they
clear.
Didn't bother us after
They're
that.
not. We couldn't talk to anybody who works for them. So there was that kind of. That was set in stone in, I believe, 2013. It was a bummer for me, but at the same time, I totally respect it because we're not Warner Brothers. We're making a film outside of Warner Brothers, and they're very protective. If it was a Warner Brothers thing, of course we would be doing it. But
Incidentally, it was also the same situation with DC. You know, they were aware of it, but they didn't want to be involved, which is fine, you know.
right, because Warner Brothers told DC it's their, underneath the umbrella. But ultimately, in the end, they've been totally cool about it. I mean, the film came out. We got incredible reviews. We're the highest rated Superman on Rotten Tomatoes. I love saying that because it's weird. It's a weird thing, but we're 92% fresh.
Certified.
Certified, yeah.
fresh.
Thank God we don't have that green splotch like Batman v Superman. Anyway, I know it's a low blow. But it's a Superman movie that didn't get made, but I think we really approached it with that kind of respect level. And just the hard work is there. Like, we really kind of got as many people to be who were involved in it and talked to them truthfully about it.
And went broke making it.
And we went broke making it. But so anyway, yeah, Warner Brothers. We're very happy that they've been cool about the film, and that's all I gotta say about Warner Brothers. I'm glad they're making more stuff. I love all the TV stuff.
I have a question for you. Kara, give me the microphone. If you mentioned alternate reality, alternate universe, so here we go. Superman stands right here, and he says, "Well, that's interesting, and I'd like to see that myself." He offers to turn back time and make that movie, but we get that movie, but we're not here talking about this because this doesn't exist anymore.
I would like that. Why? Well, no, I don't want to
I would
not
not
exist.
like that.
I would have never met this beautiful lady right here if that happened. But
That's not true. We knew each other well before that.
no, because it wouldn't happen if that Superman movie happened.
John, we've been together since 2002.
Yeah, and this was in 1997, 98.
Our movie wouldn't have been made, but we would have been together.
Yeah, but I might not have moved to
Anyway,
Chicago. Anyway,
Elseworlds.
we don't know. Life would change. But what I think would have happened if they made Superman Lives on an alternate planet, and that came out, I think it would have been a big hit. And we would have had like Michael Keaton come back as Batman, and they would have made a World's Finest with those two.
Yes,
and we would have
please.
Justice League in 2004. I think Warner Brothers would have bought Marvel because Marvel was for sale in 1999. They were trying to sell the entire company. That's why they sold all their characters. So a lot of things would have changed. We would be in a very different universe right
Justice League versus Avengers kind of thing.
now. Maybe Avengers would be part of Warner Brothers. Who knows?
Guys, you would have been able to see Christopher Walken as Brainiac.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Do we have another question out here?
Well, you stole Bryce's question.
I'm so sorry. I've been working on that for like a week, and I had this one opportunity before you did it. I'm sorry. I owe you a soda.
Okay. I'm familiar with the folder that you're talking about because I had a lot of those same pictures on my computer. So I've been fascinated about this for a long time. But what I want to know is, after reading it, was Kevin Smith's script good? Like, is it something they could have went ahead with? Or,
I liked it. Yeah.
It
See, I
had
know-
problems. It had problems. It definitely. I mean, it was not. It wasn't polished enough. There was a lot going on. It was like everything in the kitchen sink, and
Right.
but it had a lot of heart, and it was funny, and he knows his source material really, really well, and I feel like more than the other two screenwriters, Gilroy and Wesley Strick, he was paying homage from a fan's perspective in a way that really does strongly come across.
Yeah, I really liked it because, I mean, I think it would have come across better now than in 1999
Definitely.
because of our fan culture and people are familiar with all these different characters. Like, you had Black
He was
Manta
world building back then
was in there.
in that
you know.
script.
A lot of characters that no one would have known who any of these characters were back in 99. So, yeah, I think there's good things about all of the scripts. So they're all online. You can check them out.
Yeah, Kevin's probably would have had at least one moment with a brilliant monologue that was, crazy deep and heartfelt.
There's a couple of different, his best stuff is dialogue driven. So
Yeah.
there's tons of scenes of Clark and Lois having conversations.
That's one of my favorite things about Kevin's script is actually the relationship between Lois and Clark, because he writes it like, gosh, I kind of want to relate it to Say Anything, like John, you know what I mean? There's there's this romance there that's very, fun and jokey, but they adore each other, and it was really heartwarming. So we missed out on that for sure.
I didn't know if Tim just didn't like his script or he was.
Tim
trying to
was
take
not
care of it.
involved with like basically that was jettisoned.
Yeah, they never met about
yeah.
it. I think Tim just, like, you know, a lot of directors come onto different projects and they bring their other writers that
That's
they
why he
just
brought
work
Wesley
with.
Strick.
Yeah, because Wesley had just worked with Tim on like a few years back on the Batman Returns. He's returning to another superhero property, felt more comfortable. And he had his own story he wanted to tell, so I think he probably read Kevin's script and just wanted to go a different way. And it's nothing malicious. A lot of people sometimes are like, you know, then they got rid of this person, got another person. It's because they have a totally different take on it and they want to put their own brand on it, and they're not able to do that with a previously written script.
One of the things also, like in Wesley Strick's script, there are some real stinkers of dialogue in Wesley Strick's script, really bad. Like, what's the one that he says, he's getting overweight, Superman's getting overweight, and he says, oh gosh, what is the line? What's the thing?
Up, and another sandwich? I can't
Something like
remember.
that, yeah, up, and I weigh too much.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, this
That is
kind of
funny.
dialogue. Up, and I weigh too much. Like that kind of just cheesy, horrible dialogue. But at the same time, going back to what John said, there were moments where, Clark is in his apartment and he's hearing everybody in his apartment complex paranoid, freaking out, talking about the alien among us. And he can't drown that out. And it's driving him insane. So there were great moments in all scripts, but none of them were polished. So that's unfortunately a big part of why they didn't get made. You know.
Another question over there?
You said that WB and the other network, what's the other one? DC, didn't object to your film, but I've been doing that for 20 years, and they objected to showing 3 episodes from the original TV show,
From what show?
from the TV with George Reeves, and they made us stop showing it.
Oh, but that's
After I in favor.
That's a totally different situation. Completely.
I'm not disputing what you thought. I think it's great. I'm just comparing the two. Why did they make such a fuss over this
Well-
situation showing 3 films when all but 2 characters, actually 3 characters are still
Right.
alive?
Well, we're not familiar with your the what you're talking about, but I do know that, like, if we had to go through all of our legal fair use, we had one of the best legal fair use lawyers you could possibly get. He cleared a lot of other documentaries that were involved using footage and things like that. So everything we did was under the law. You know, there was basically, we were like safe, is what I'd say.
The
from
main reason for that,
Yeah.
though, is because when you're making a documentary, you're transforming the content. So that's the main clarification, because you're not just showing something, you're talking about it and describing it in a way so it's an example of something else. Do you understand? So
Right, it's not like I can't just take a Three Stooges episode that I love and put it on TV, because I don't own the rights to it.
Right.
So
But
if-
you have to give the 3 Stooges creators credit there for that.
you would have to give them credit, and you'd also probably have to pay them, and you'd also have to have whoever owns the rights to that Three Stooges film, which rights are always owned by somebody, you would have to pay them.
Case in point, when you mentioned that, again, I'm not disputing what you're saying.
Right.
But when the movie The Three Stooges came out, 4 years ago?
Sure.
They showed, I think, a couple of clips. They had to give the owners of those clips credit.
that's standard.
Yeah, standard. We gave credit. If you watch our documentary, at the end of it, it's like
It's
the
a long
credits are like
list of-
10 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
And then